Learn to Fight. I'm your host, Manny. Today we're getting into a philosophical discussion. Some of you guys might know of Friedrich Nietzsche, might have learned about him in school, in college, whatever. I don't agree with everything he said, but we're going to get into one of his philosophies that makes sense to me, and it makes sense in everything as far as fitness, health, fitness, fighting, and just life in general. All the great fighters, all the great martial artists were also philosophers. Whether you believe in it or not, we're all being programmed, and we all have programming in our subconscious. You can choose to program yourself or be programmed. I choose to program myself. When it comes to martial arts, the philosophical part is extremely important. From birth till death, we're trying to grow. From the moment we are little sperm cells going in there trying to find the egg, we're competing. We're competing with other sperm cells to get to the egg. Your whole goal is to grow, to be able to become a baby and then be able to be born. We're going step by step in life. We all have these desires encoded in us and these driving forces in us. That's what the will to power is. It's a force stronger than our need to. The will to power is the primary driving force in humans, more fundamental than the will to survive. It encompasses the desire to assert and enhance one's power and influence over oneself and the environment. I know some of you guys are like, oh, what are we doing here? Is this philosophy class or what? Yeah, it is philosophy class. We're getting into some good shit today. When this goes into fitness, it encompasses it at all. And it's something that's really helped me a lot. So I'm gonna put on the glasses. When I put these on, you know I'm not fucking around. We're gonna get into some good shit. Working out is hard. Life is hard. Having a job is hard. Doing push-ups is hard. Having kids is hard. I wouldn't know I don't have kids, but having kids is hard from what I hear. Having a girlfriend can be hard, right? Everything in life is hard. So what's the point of all this, right? A lot of us even make life harder for ourselves on purpose, self-sabotage. What's the point of all of it, right? That's where the will to power comes in. When I'm in the gym and I'm doing push-ups, I'm trying to get to 1,000 push-ups. So for some reason, I just have the desire in me to try to achieve 1,000 push-ups. I was on YouTube and I seen some dude do 1,000 push-ups. I'm like, nah, he's doing 1,000 push-ups. I have to be able to do 1,000 push-ups. I don't know what it is. There's just always some type of drive in me, desire in me to become stronger, become better, to push myself. I don't want to go through my whole life, be at the end of my life, and not have tested out my meat vehicle as much as I could have, not have taken life as far as I could have and reach my potential. That's a desire that I've always had in myself personally. But when we look at the will to power, that's a desire that we all have naturally. Maybe not to do 1,000 push-ups, but we all have the desire to grow. And that's the one consistent thing in life is growth. From the moment we're a sperm cell to the moment we're an embryo, to the moment we're a baby, and then a toddler, and then a teenager, and then an adult, and then you're growing in your body, you're growing in your career, you're growing in all different forms. You're growing a family, you're growing this, you're growing that, everything in life grows. We plant a seed for a tomato, it grows, hopefully. And when you're not growing, you're dead, right? So we all should be trying to grow every day. And that's the desire we have. And when we disregard this desire that's when depression comes in. That's when sickness comes in. That's when like external dread comes in. That's when you're lost. That's when you don't have a goal. That's when you don't have a mission. You're not growing. So subconsciously, you start to have it doesn't harmonize. These things don't go together. It causes disharmony in your body and in your mind and causes you problems. Think about everything that feels good in the world, everything that feels good in life, good food. When you just hit a workout and you feel good, you got the adrenaline pumping through you, winning a fight, having a good conversation with friends, having good friends, spending time with family. Think about everything that feels good. Why does it feel good? Life starts with questions, and these questions give us answers to be able to live our life and really understand what we are doing here. So, what is good? You know, what is good? Really think about that. That brings us to Friedrich Nietzsche. What is good? All that heightens the feeling of power, the will to power, power itself in man. What is bad? All that proceeds from weakness. What is happiness? The feeling that power increases, that a resistance is overcome. I agree. I agree with this full-heartedly. This is why you see so many fighters coming back, you know, even though they should clearly retire, coming back, getting knocked out, coming back. Like Chuck Liddell at his height when he was fighting and he kept getting knocked out, he kept getting brutalized. Everyone's like, Chuck, stop fighting. Why are you fighting? You're 50 years old. You're still getting knocked out. You need to stop. Everyone else can see us, but Chuck keeps going. He keeps trying. He keeps going. It's like Sylvester Stallone and Rocky. I always bring things back to fighting because that's my life. That's what I understand. Sylvester Stallone and Rocky, he's getting beat up. He's down and out. He even loses that first fight in the Rocky series, but everybody loves Rocky. Why? Happiness comes from overcoming. Whenever we're first born, we're in that sperm cell. Everybody is trying to get to the egg, right? Everybody who falls off, they never become a human. You get to the egg, you're happy, you're able to survive. You beat everybody. Life is a competition. So that is power. When I say power and when I read this, the will to power, I'm not thinking like, oh, all like power or power over people or power over this or power over that. No, I'm thinking about power in oneself and power to become as strong as you possibly can be and overcoming your adversities. This is what gives you true happiness. This is what gives you true happiness. What is happiness? The feeling that precedes the power, that the feeling that power increases, that a resistance is overcome. That for me, the easiest way to like visualize that is like hitting a PR. You hit a personal record in the gym, you usually feel amazing afterwards because you overcame resistance, you grew. Therefore, you're happy. You only really get happiness whenever whenever you're overcoming or overcoming something. I got the matcha on deck as always. You really only get happiness, feel happiness when you overcome something, when you get that, when you hit that PR, you go on a hard run and get that runner's high. You don't really get happiness from, just kind of like laying around and, when you have everything you could ever imagine, indulging in it so much. That's not, from my experience in life, that's not how you get happiness. So that makes sense to me, what Nietzsche is talking about with what is happiness. What is bad? All that proceeds from weakness. What is bad? All that proceeds from weakness. So now when we look at what's going on current day, depression is on the rise. I did a video on that recently. But what else is on the rise? People are becoming weaker and weaker and weaker by the day. So as people become weaker, people become more depressed. That's bad. That's how we know what's bad is weakness. Because how you feel. If you go and you indulge in a bunch of food, you feel like shit. A bunch of food without earning it, you feel like shit. You get out of weight, you get you're out of shape, you feel like shit because you're becoming weak. Anything that makes you weaker makes you feel bad. If you're a drug addict and you get that high, but immediately after, you're down and out, you're on the street, right? You're living in dirt, you feel like shit, you feel bad. Everything that makes you weak is bad. We know this subconsciously, inherently. But when we don't acknowledge it and we don't really see it in this type of way, it kind of makes things a little fuzzy and it confuses us. So that's what this is about. Learn to fight. Learn to fight. Life is a fight. Every single day in life, you're going to fight. From the moment you're that little sperm cell to the day you're in the grave, you're going to be fighting every single day. You're going to be fighting for everything you have. You're going to be fighting for your life. You're going to be fighting for your job. You're going to be fighting for everything. So anything that makes you weak is bad. Anything that weakens your mind, weakens your body, weakens your soul is bad. We all know this subconsciously. That's why when you're depressed, a lot of times it's because you're overindulging or you're just not doing anything with your life. You're not doing anything with the 24 hours. You're not growing. You're feeling stagnant. And I agree full-heartedly with that. I don't agree with Nietzsche on a lot of things, but this I agree with for sure because I've seen it. I've seen someone come to me and, they have everything. They're wealthy. Financially, they have all the materials, but they're depressed because they're just overindulging. They're not earning the things in life. We're programmed to struggle. That's how we achieve what we want in life. It's literally in our DNA. Struggling is part of the human experience. That's why we can see everything around us, all the buildings that are built, all the skyscrapers, all the planes, everything. We had to struggle for everything. And that's what we're about. That's what the will to power is. The need that man has to be able to control and create in the world environment. But more importantly, about being able to control yourself and master yourself. And that's what martial arts is. From the moment you're a white belt and you don't know anything, you're getting choked up, you're getting slammed down, you're getting mauled. I told you guys this a million times, my first ever real MMA fight, I got destroyed. I got picked up, I got slammed, I got choked probably like 3 times that day. I got ground and pounded. My eye was messed up for like 6 months after the fight. I went home. This was 2009, 2008. I went home that night. I laid down in the dark room. I just stared at the sky. I said, never again. I'm gonna go learn this shit. I'm gonna go learn how to fight. That was like 16, 17 years ago. Ever since then, when I got up off of the ground that day, whenever I went to the gym, started learning, getting Molly and pieced up, when I got my first takedown, when I set my first takedown, it felt so amazing. When I finally saw that I was getting better, it felt great. And that's what life's about. These moments, you can't ever truly feel alive if you don't struggle. Think about that. You can't ever truly feel alive if you don't struggle. If you don't struggle and overcome, then you're weak. You're weak mentally, you're weak spiritually, you're weak physically. What is good? All that heightens the feeling of power, the will to power, power itself in man. That means to me, every day that I overcome myself, whenever, that's why I tell you guys, the fasting. Fasting is one of the best ways to achieve and gain power over yourself, which will which will equate to everything in your life. Because our desire to eat, our desire to survive is clearly linked with food. And we have this mass abundance of food to tell yourself, nah, I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to eat. And just stay focused. That's how you gain true power. You know, that's why all these religions they already knew this. They already knew this. Jesus went into the desert 40 days, 40 nights, fasted. He was tempted with all different things. You know, the devil came, tempted him with everything. But after, and he didn't break. But after that 40 days, 40 nights, he was a different man. Right? He was different. He achieved the next level. And that's directly for us. In order for us to break through and transcend and become as strong as we possibly can, gain our highest potential, we need to be able to control ourselves and control our desires. And that's something that we all struggle with. But when we don't control our desires and control ourselves, we're in a lower state of mind, a lower state of being. And that's where this will to power is so interesting to me. And it's spot on. I agree with everything in this. In order to gain true power, and I don't mean power over people, power over this. I don't mean it in a weird, like narcissistic, egotistical way. No, I mean power in yourself, transcending yourself, being better than you were yesterday. That's what martial arts is about. That's what Learn to Fight is about. Overcoming, achieving. You know, in my own fight career, I love my fight career because I took some losses. You know, I hit the mat a few times. I have no issue with that. That's why we just saw Dominic Reyes go out there, knock out Jacob Jacoby and Justin Jacoby. Everybody's like hyped on Reyes. Everybody's like, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Reyes hasn't won in like 4 or 5 years. He finally broke through. He finally was able to go out there, knock the guy out, and he fought a real good striker and was able to do it. So this is what we're about, and this is what we love. Humans in general, the fighting spirit in humans is the number one thing that we have, and is what has brought us to this point. And was something that we need to continue to cultivate self-mastery of ourselves. And that's why things like this, these free solo climbers, the movie Free Solo is insane. And I think it's a perfect example of like what it is that we're about, humans, what makes us truly happy, overcoming, doing hard things. Look at this. Imagine that mountain is whatever your goals is, whatever your demons are, and you're climbing up that thing. I could never imagine climbing a mountain freehand like this. But we all have the potential to do it. We all have if we work hard enough, we could do it. And I think real abstract. So he could probably never step into the cage, but he could climb a mountain. So whatever your thing, whatever your mountain is, you're not going to be able to hit the top unless you struggle. And you might die trying to hit the top. Legit, you might die trying to hit the top, but it doesn't matter because you're overcoming your fears and you're overcoming yourself. You're overcoming all these different things. That's what the will to power is to me. That's what the will to power is to me. That's what I look at it as. And it goes hand in hand with martial arts. It goes hand in hand with just the human experience and the daily struggle. Because if you don't have these things in your mind and you don't understand that it's supposed to be hard, then you'll give up, and then you're depressed, whatever. You'll try to lay down, try to take the easy path, which will ultimately be the harder path. The easy path is actually the harder path, because at the end of your life, if you took a super easy road, you're going to be dissatisfied with your life. You're going to be dissatisfied with yourself. You're probably going to low-key hate yourself. And that's why weakness is bad. When we're talking about the will to power and Friedrich Nietzsche, this man literally climbed a mountain, bare hands, no equipment. Probably took hours. A lot of us wouldn't climb a mountain with the equipment. And this is what the human experience is all about. From the moment we were sperm cells to now, we're supposed to be trying to find the next hard thing and overcoming. That's why I fight personally. That's why I fight. It makes me feel alive. You can't truly feel alive if you don't struggle. It's impossible. Like, seriously, think about the moments in your own life where you felt the happiest. You feel happiest when you're grinding, when you're going through pain, when you're failing and you're figuring it out. You're learning new things. You're coming back. You're trying. You're falling, and then finally you hit that thing. You figure it out. That's what it's about. That's what it's always been about, and that's what it will always be about. From birth till death, growth is what we're supposed to be doing. When you're being mediocre and you're just trying to just survive, especially in this day and age, it's so easy to just survive. That's when the real pain and the real bad feelings are going to set in. Guaranteed. This is Leonardo DiCaprio's Vitruvian Man. It shows the design of humans and what we are. And Leonardo da Vinci, perfect example. If you ever look into all the things that he was creating and trying to build, he's a perfect example of the will to power. Just a man with a mind trying to gain mastery over himself and creating just incredible art, incredible things with science, and incredible philosophies. This Vitruvian Man was made, thousands of years ago, right? I don't even know how long. And it's still one of the most iconic pictures and pieces of art that we have. The Mona Lisa is one of the most iconic paintings ever. You don't achieve something like that unless you master yourself, master your mind. Beyond survival. Surviving isn't enough. If you're trying to really live at your best and you're trying to be yourself, you're trying to be your healthiest, you're trying to be your most successful, surviving isn't enough. Beyond survival, unlike other philosophies that emphasize survival or pleasure as the primary motivators, Nietzsche argues that humans are driven by a deeper need to assert control, achieve goals, and impose their will. I'll tell you, in that cage, it's the most realist moment and the most, especially nowadays, like life can be so fake and society and people are so fake but we're in that cage, it's the realest it gets. It's as real as it gets. I know a lot of people think that the fights are fake. They're not fake. They're real. They're extremely real. The journey you have to go through to get to the cage, go fight another man, and win is a psychedelic type of journey, because every day you have to overcome your own fear. It's the same as climbing that mountain. Every day you have to overcome your own fear. Every day you have to overcome your own anxieties. Every day you got to think, oh, this guy's going to try to kill me, and you have to work hard. At the same time, when you finally hit the fight and you're finally there, fight day, there's stories of guys wanting to jump, wanting to run away, wanting to fake injuries, but they still go out there and do it. That's why it feels so good. It makes you feel alive. There's that balance, that yin yang balance. And for us as humans, when I say us, I mean humans. For us as humans, achieving goals every day, setting goals, achieving goals. My goal today was to put out a banger episode of Learn to Fight. And that's what I'm doing. I feel good right now. I feel focused. I feel like I'm doing something. So it motivates me. Makes me to continue. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Show some love in the comments. The deeper need to assert control. Now that's, again, that we don't have to turn that into a negative thing. Assert control. When I hear that, I think control over myself, not control over others, control over myself. That's what I think when I hear that. A deeper need to assert control, not just being impulsive, not just being an animal and just being impulsive. Well, let me get that. Let me do this. Let me do that. That's what makes us great, is that we have the ability to control ourselves, but we need to have the mental strength to be able to control ourselves. And the more mental strength you have, the more control you have over yourself, which gives you more power in this world and in this realm and in this life. Impose our will. You can impose your will on yourself. You can impose your will on your opponent. You can impose your will on your own mind, because your own mind is going to be your worst enemy in this life. Everything in nature goes by this. The lion imposing his will on the deer, eating it. The bear in there, eating the salmon, imposing his will. The tiger. I love this picture of this cheetah, because it's just so brutal. It's so real. It's eating the mom and the baby's still clinging to it. This is the real reality of how things are. Life is brutal. It's hard. It's supposed to be hard. And we're supposed to embrace the grind and enjoy the grind and enjoy the ride and become tough and become as tough as we possibly can. That's what it's about. Enjoying the pain, enjoying the suffering, getting your ass beat, looking it dead in the face and being like, yeah, I want more. I want more. I like getting my ass beat. I like getting my ass beat in life. That's what it's about. Because I'm going to beat some asses as well. You're going to get your ass beat, but you're going to beat some asses, guaranteed. And the way you win, I think, is if you beat more asses than you get your ass beat in the long run, metaphorically speaking. Metaphorically speaking, you're going to beat your own ass. You're going to beat yourself, the inner bitch inside yourself, telling you don't want to work out that day. You know, every time, 9 times out of 10, I never want to work out. 9 times out of 10. But when I go to the gym and I work out, I always feel great afterwards. To be honest, I didn't even want to make this episode today, but I was like, hey, I have to make this episode and show you guys some love. But now I feel great. 9 times out of 10, when you start something, you really don't want to do it because it's so easy to lay down. It's so easy to lay down, but that's not what's going to make you happy in the long run. And that brings us to the next thing, the creative force. The creative force in life. I personally think this creative force topic is so interesting because I'm an artist myself. I've always painted and draw, and I find that we're supposed to create. We look here, we look around. Everything in this world and in this life is about creation, and we're creating constantly. We're creating thoughts. We're creating buildings. We're creating cars. We're creating technology. We're creating industries. We're creating life. We even try to create artificial life. We even try to create artificial intelligence. We're constantly trying to create. And this creative force, the ability to be able to bring something from your mind and manifest it into the real world, that's what we've always done. And that's what it's always been about. That's our true purpose. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. That's why I love art. I love art so much. So the creative force, Nietzsche sees that the will to power, not just as a desire for dominance, but as a creative force. It drives individuals to innovate, create, and overcome challenges, leading to personal growth and development of new values and ideas. So in the previous episode, we talked about visualization and how powerful visualization is. That's what the creative force is. Being able to just go into your mind's eye, and just imagine. When I was a kid, I would just imagine all types of things and just try to imagine as much things as I could and create scenarios and create stories and create storylines and just like try to invent things, just create. That was just my natural inclination. I think that's most kids and most people's natural inclination. As time goes on and we try to just do the bare minimum, we're just trying to survive every day, it kind of dulls us down. We shouldn't just be trying to survive. In my place, I have paintings all over the place. Some that I've been working on for years, some that I have stacks and stacks. And soon here I'm gonna make a video showing you guys some of my art, some of my paintings. But the creative force is something that's inside of all of us, and it's something that really we all should be trying to cultivate. This is a beautiful piece right here that depicts it. I love this piece. Overcoming and becoming. Overcoming and becoming. This is why the will to power goes perfectly with learn to fight, and to understand what I'm really trying to convey to you guys when you're like thinking like, why should I work out? Why should I do this? Why should I do that? And we're all going to revert and have moments of weakness, but trying to become as strong as we possibly can. Overcoming and becoming, a key aspect of the will to power is the idea of overcoming. Individuals strive to overcome their limitations and continuously become something greater. This is closely linked to Nietzsche's concept of the übermensch, or the overman, an individual who has transcended ordinary human conditions through self-overcoming. So I'm trying to become the übermensch. That's not no like Hitler stuff. He's German. Whenever I heard übermensch, I thought that was like some like I always had like that was like Hitler was trying to create some superhuman soldier. But no, the übermensch is the man and the person who overcomes themselves to be able to really have true free reign over their environment, over their world. Like Alex Honnold climbing that mountain. Most people can't do that. He has a very specific power and very specific skill that allows him to do that he's cultivated. Overcoming and becoming, overcoming your weakness. Everybody's going to be different at the end of their lives, but we all have different things that we all have different battles. We all have different fights. And we all have different things we're trying to overcome. But this idea of overcoming and becoming, self-transcendence, that's the final goal. A lot of philosophers believe that the human is trying to have, transcending yourself and overcoming yourself, overcoming your own individual struggles. Every religion talks about this. Jesus in the desert, 40 days, 40 nights. In the Muslim culture, they have Ramadan, where every day you're fasting during the period of Ramadan. Also, in the Jewish culture, they have some type of similar thing. Most cultures have this because they understood way back when, in order to become your best self, in order to become the übermensch or the Superman, you have to be able to control the most basic animalistic desires that you have. And you have to have control of yourself like that, full control. That's like what David Banner and the Hulk. It's like Bruce Banner, the Hulk, right? Whenever his whole thing is he's trying to control himself, control his animalistic desires. But the Hulk is his superpower, yeah. But the moment he's able to control the Hulk, he becomes the Ubermensch. He becomes the bad motherfucker. He becomes a different level of a guy. So overcoming and becoming, that's what we all should be striving to do. This right here is a perfect example and a perfect picture of what we're talking about. Overcoming and becoming. From the time you're just a little pup, weak little guy there, and you're going through life struggles. And each struggle you overcome, you're leveling up. Now, some people get stuck in certain struggles and they never ever get out. We should be striving to struggle and hit the next level, and hit the next level, and hit the next level, to where things are just way different. And that's where struggling physically, struggling mentally, seeking the struggle, seeking the grind, and enjoying the grind helps us and serves us so much. Enjoy the pain, enjoy the struggle, enjoy it all. Be grateful that you even have these struggles, because once you overcome them, you're going to be a different level of a person. Not everybody, like I said, I don't agree with everything Nietzsche says at all. I don't agree with Nietzsche. He has a really, I forget which philosophy it was called, but one of his philosophies is like just super depressing. I don't even know. I think Nietzsche, I don't know how he ended up dying. I think he ended up going crazy. I don't know. But this one right here, The Will to Power, is one that I agree with. I don't agree with a lot of his stuff. So there's a lot of people who don't agree, and there's a lot of people who have critiques on it. But critique of the traditional morality. Nietzsche uses the will to power to critique traditional moral values, which he sees as life denying and rooted in weakness. He argues that for a re-evaluation of values that affirm life and strength, embracing the will to power as a positive life-informing force. In Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy work, Will to Power, the concept of the last man. All right, before we get to the last man, everything I'm saying, it can be took in a positive way or a negative way. If you look at this in a negative way, like you're just trying to gain power and you're trying to just crush your fellow man and stuff like that, you're going to have a bad time in life, guaranteed. You're going to have a bad time. If you're too egotistical, you're going to have a bad time. When you go in the martial arts world, in martial arts academy, you learn that real quick. You get weeded out real quick. So Nietzsche, he had all types of issues. He had all types of issues. I look at this as, in a way, when I say will to power, I mean control yourself. Hit the gym when you want to do it. Hit the gym without fail when you want to do it. Don't eat food when you want to do it because you have control of yourself. You're the one controlling the shit, not your desires. That's what I'm saying with this, with the will to power. Be the strongest version of yourself, control yourself. That's it. If you take that and you want to spin it into something negative, that's on you. That's on you, and you'll feel the consequences of that, you know? But now we're going into the concept of the last man. This is where we currently are. It could get worse, but this is where we currently are. In the, like, for example, in the movie or the book 1984, they're in the stages of the last man. This is where, if people don't really get this through their heads and we don't teach kids to like work out, learn how to fight these things, this is where we're going. That's why depression's on the rise. Testosterone's on the decline. Obesity's on the rise. Here in America, obesity's on the rise because we're looking at the last man. I had 10 friends kill themselves. I had 10 friends unalive themselves in my personal life. So for me, a big passion for myself is understanding mental health and being able to help people through fitness and through martial arts with their mental health. Because all my friends who off themselves, if they just would have waited and worked out more, set goals, not dwell in the negativity, they would have seen how their lives would have changed shortly. You know, it was one of the biggest mistakes that they could have made. And this is where we're going. These things are happening more and more in our society with the mass shootings, you know, kids feeling just hopeless, people obese. This is the last man. This is the concept of the last man. Weakness is bad for yourself. All right. So in Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophical work, The Will to Power, the concept of the last man is introduced as a critical element in his critique of the modern society and its values. The last man represents the antithesis of Nietzsche's ideal übermensch, or overman, or superman. This would be the übermensch. I like that word, übermensch. That's pretty dope. This is the übermensch ideal, right? The man's on the top of the mountain. He conquered everything. The waves are flying. His nature and himself are connected in one. He's a powerful being. This is the Übermensch. Okay. And now we go to the last man. The last man, there's nothing here. The guy's depressed. There's no vibrancy here. There's no life here. It's just depressing, down and out. There's nothing to live for. Everybody's walking, no confidence, hands down. Now, notice this. Nobody's in shape, right? Nobody's in shape. Nobody's hitting the gym. Nobody knows how to fight here. They're just depressed. They're surviving. Looks like they're probably going to work, but this is not the ideal way to live. They're surviving, but they're depressed. They hate lives. And I think Picasso did an amazing job at depicting this in his Blue period. The last man, mediocrity and conformity. What it means to be a man, especially a man with high testosterone. Look at all the old heads. They're not just gonna lay down and be like, oh yes, I'm gonna conform. Oh yes. Like, no, they're like, no. Part of being a man and being a strong individual is being able to be like, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing this. You don't just conform and lay down and just because you're your individual and you have your own mind. So the last man, mediocrity and conformity. The last man embodies a life of comfort, security, and superficial pleasures, avoiding any form of risk or challenge. This figure seeks to maintain the status quo and avoid any form of hardship or profound experience. And this is a perfect example of it. Look at it. Heads down is blue. They're not taking any risks. Life's all about taking risks. We can't live without really truly taking risks and failing, enjoying the failure, enjoying the struggle. I remember growing up, my mom would always tell me, oh, don't do this, don't do it, because she wants to keep me safe, right? But that's not how we're supposed to live. We're supposed to take risks. You want to take calculated risks, but life's about taking a risk, rolling the dice. Picasso really, really showed the last man and the mediocrity and comfort, just life devoid of any true essence with this Blue period. That reminds me of the movie like American Psycho. American Psycho is a perfect example of the last man because he is living a life of mediocrity. He's living a life, he might be rich. Christian Bale's character might be rich, but however, he has no life. He's not getting any excitement. His life is just dull. And that causes him to have a psychotic breakdown and do just crazy psychotic things and that's what we're seeing in this current day and age. That's what we're seeing with people. That's why, I always say, learn to fight, go to the gym, get that intensity at the gym, get beat up, beat people up in the gym. It's one of the best things you can do for your mental health. Lack of ambition and creativity. The last man is content with mediocrity and does not aspire for greatness or self-overcoming. This lack of ambition leads to stagnation of the human potential and creativity. And we can see it here. I love this piece. I love this piece of the man just playing music. He's depressed, head down. He's trying, and notice in this, Picasso did an amazing job in showing because what he's showing here, let me make it a big screen. What he's showing here, everything is blue. There's no feeling, there's no life, there's no creative force, there's nothing there. But look, as soon as the guy starts playing the guitar, look, everything is blue except for the guitar. Because that guitar and that creative force is what's going to get him out of his depression and his feeling. Soon as this man keeps playing the guitar, creating music, creating something, he's going to get pulled out of the state he's in. That's what makes Picasso just such an amazing artist. He's able to show the human experience on a different level. I want to go over that again. The lack of ambition and creativity. The last man is content with mediocrity and does not aspire to greatness or overcoming or self-overcoming. This lack of ambition leads to stagnation of human potential and creativity. But the way to get that human potential and creativity back is through art, through these things. Like, look at him. He's getting out of it. The guitar is the only thing that's alive in this picture, in this painting. Absence of higher values. The last man rejects or is indifferent to higher values such as heroism, greatness, and pursuit of excellence. Instead, they prioritize material comfort and safety above all else. Material comfort and safety above all else. You know what? This is firing me up because it's reminding me why I fight. It's reminding me why I do what I do. And we all need that reminder. We all need that reminder because life is so comfortable. Here in California, I could go to the beach every day, just lay out and be a bum. You know what I'm saying? And be an absolute bum and be a homeless man and just live my life. I could do that. But I wouldn't do that because I'm not built like that. I'm built for risk taking. I'm built for excitement. I'm a thrill seeker. I'm a adrenaline junkie. I want to live life to the highest potential. I want to feel life. I want to feel excitement. I want to feel happiness. I want to feel these things. I want to feel. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I chose to fight. That's why I chose to do super hard things. That's why I continue to try to do hard things like marathons. That's what I'm trying. I'm trying to become a übermensch myself. You know, I'm trying to become my strongest version of myself. And this going over this will to power is just reminding me why I do what I do. And it makes make it easier for me to wake up in the morning tomorrow. It's gonna make it easier for me to deliver these episodes for you guys. Don't prioritize safety and comfort over all else. Don't get me wrong. We all want to live a good life, but if you live a life super neutered and super weak and dull, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? What's the point? There is no point. Go get beat up in the gym. Go take a risk. You know what I'm saying? Go take some risks in life. That's what it's about. That's what it's always been about. We all are here because we won the race. But the ones that lost the race, as when we were sperm, they were living life. They were really they couldn't think of what was next. All they were thinking is we got to get to where we're going to get to. We got to get to the egg. They lost, but they were living life full on with their purpose. And that's what we should be doing. Emphasis on egalitarianism. While equality is often seen as virtue, Nietzsche viewed the form of egalitarianism embraced by the last man as a flattening of the human's potential, where exceptional individuals are discouraged from rising above the average. It's not about anybody else, right? It's all about yourself. You want to become as strong as you can for yourself and for your family and for your loved ones. If you have control over yourself to a high degree, you can do a lot of things, which is going to be able to help your family and help these things. That's why me personally, I want to rise above that average. Not because I want to be better than anybody or say, oh, I'm better than you. No. I want to be able to take care of myself. I want to be able to take care of my family, take care of my friends. I want to be able to inspire my nephew. I want to be able to inspire the kids who are looking up to me. That's what it's about. It's not about anybody else or being better than them, you know? And to wrap it all up, the Übermensch, right? The man at the top of the mountain, waves, the sun's coming down, nature, the force of nature. You're at the top. You struggle to get there. You're living life. A lot of us will probably never feel that. But just the idea and the struggle to be able to get there is the whole purpose of our lives. And then the other side, the last man, devoid of any desire, comfortable being mediocre, head down, no one's in shape, they hate their lives. That's what the will to power is. And when it comes to health and fitness, these things come together. When you're trying to figure out why you're going to go to the gym and struggle, why should you set a goal? How are you going to set a goal? Maybe you're lost. You don't know even where to start. You just got to start somewhere and start doing something hard. Even if you fail, as you're going through the process, you're going to gain so much knowledge, and you're going to gain control. You're going to gain a lot of things for yourself, which is going to make you happy and make you able to live a better life. And that's ultimately why we're all here. And that's ultimately what we should be doing with our lives. And I think that's why we're here. And that's what it's about. That's what Learn to Fight's about. Hit that like button, show some love, drop some comments below. Let me know your thoughts. And I'll be back soon. Peace.